I would like to share this story, although it's not specifically having to do with Lag Bomer, but it did occur at the Matzeva of the RASHBI or Shimon ben Yochai. Um, it's an unbelievable story, and I would like to tell it to my friends. It happened more than 35 years ago. I was in Israel, and I was grave hopping, as it's called, going from one tzaddik's kever to another. And of course, you can't go to Israel and not visit the Tzion from the RASHBI. So I was there with my wife, who was pregnant at the time. And after we went in and we davened, we said Tillim. As we're coming out, this old Sephardi man, looked to be at least 90 years old, maybe 190, I'm not sure. And he stops us, he picks up his hand, he raises above my wife's belly, and he starts mumbling something. And when he's finished, we're walking out, my wife turns pale white. And I ask her, what happened? What did he say? I don't really speak Hebrew. I didn't understand what he was saying. She tells me that he gave her a bracha that we should have a son on Rosh Chodesh Kislev. So I said, so what's the problem? I had already had a daughter from a previous marriage, and I was more than happy to have a boy. And she goes, you don't understand. On Rosh Chodesh Kislev, I'm going to be in my 8th month, and it's not safe to deliver in the 8th month. So I said, okay, you know what? He's just an old man. What does he know what he's saying? And we forgot about that story. And Chodesh Kislev came and went, and she did not deliver, Baruch Hashem. And a month later, on Tevis, she delivered, and it was not a boy, it was a girl, and that's it. Now, fast forward about 15 years, and I'm sitting with a group of friends, and I'm recounting story after story, and everybody's putting in their own little story that they went to a Makubal, and he said this, and he said that. Bottom line, it seems that a lot of these guys are really not the real thing. And I, of course, told this story, how this guy, he gave me a bracha that I should have the son of Chodesh Kislev, and it didn't happen. And then while I'm telling this story to my friends, I gasp in middle, and it hits me for the first time that 3 years after that event, I did have a son on Rosh Chodesh Kislev. He gave me a bracha that I should have a son on Rosh Chodesh Kislev. He didn't say that pregnancy, but I did in fact have a son on Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Now, part 2 of the story happened when my wife was pregnant the next time, and she has her children through C-section, so you schedule the appointment with the doctor, and the doctor gives you a window. He says, pick any day this week. So I picked a Friday. Why did I pick a Friday? Because a lot of guests were coming in from out of town. And I said to myself, if it's going to be a boy, then there'll be a Shalom Zocher. A lot of people can't take off so many days, but the weekend they can take off. So if they come in on Friday, they can do the Shalom Zocher, and they can be there for the bris. So I picked a Friday. Wednesday night, before this scheduled Friday delivery, I get a call. I pick up the phone, I say hello, and the person on the other end says, hello, Mr. Schwartz, this is Dr. Cohn. I said, Dr. Cohn? I didn't remember exactly who he was. He says, yeah, I'm your wife's obstetrician. I go, oh, I had never spoken to him. I never went with my wife to an appointment. And he says, I need a favor of you. So I'm thinking, what does he need a favor of me? He says, I know you're supposed to come in Friday, but I totally forgot I was taking my wife away for the weekend. Is there any way that you can come in on Thursday, which means the next morning? So the last person in the world that I want to take off is the person who's going to deliver my baby. So I said, of course, Dr. Cohn will come in tomorrow morning. And that's how it happened, because tomorrow morning turned out to be Rosh Chodesh Kislev. If it would have been Friday, it would have been the day after. So that's how my son was born, Rosh Chodesh Kislev, forecasted by this, I'm going to call him a holy Jew, by the RASHBI's caver 3 years before that. Thank you for listening.